and it doesn't stop. I mean, goal of the year, save of the year. That brings us to the Underdog Report, brought to you by Purina. So heading into this match, gentlemen, it's got to be the Columbus Crew that are the underdogs heading in. I like this.
Man,
Excuse me?
I'll disagree, honestly. On paper, I look at Columbus Crew, I see them as the better team. Yes, they're going into a tough TQL stadium and with the best team so far this season. But,
So they're the better team, but they had way less points this
But it doesn't matter. Listen, Columbus will create more chances. They have more dangerous players to get the win today. I don't look at them as an underdog.
They're the underdog, Brad. FC Cincinnati had all these games at home this year where they win these one-goal games, tight games, been there, done that. They take care of business at home.
I agree with Brad. Columbus, given the absences for Cincinnati, should consider themselves favorites. But here's the quote from Wilfred Nancy after they almost blew it against Orlando. Quote, "We almost collapsed emotionally. Late game issues still plague the Crew. It could plague them again tonight."
Oh, I cannot wait for Hell is real. Hell is real.
Hell is real.
I'm really just trying to make it stick. I'm trying to get Santa Claus
Santa,
on my side.
bring her the
That
right
wraps
phrase
up
for
our
Chris.
Underdog Report, brought to you by Purina, with a friendly reminder for all fans. Pets are a great way to ease that match day stress and keep your head in the game. Win or lose, our pets are always there for us. By the way, how many Santas are in the crowd? Cucho Hernandez versus Lucho Acosta heading in. The two of the biggest playmakers in Major League Soccer go head-to-head to see who will host the MLS Cup Final. Stick around, we got much more coming up after this short break.
Good morning, friends. Today is Thursday, and everybody knows what that means.
How are you today? Ozark is a therapy dog who goes to children's hospitals and schools. Ozark calms people down after overwhelming days. Purina is supporting more touch therapy dogs to make a difference in the lives of more kids, like me. Purina cares here.
JCPenney is here for you every holiday to make every gift special, every moment matter, and every dollar count. So give the sweater that hugs you back, bake the cookies that melt your heart, and cherish the morning you'll always remember. JCPenney, make your holidays count.
And this be from Cash, not from YouTube.
I have secrets on your center, you know too many. I stay at your house where I hope that you'll protect me in my
There are trucks, then there's the truck, GMC Sierra. Available with the V8 engine. The Super Cruise hands-free driving experience. And of course, the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. Not just any truck, the truck.
A reverse to the other side for Harrison Awful. The Crew, for a second time in their history, have won MLS Cup.
We've had some historical moments in the final, but tonight we find out who will book their ticket December 9th, starting our coverage at 3 p.m. Eastern. That one next Saturday, we will be on ground. Will it be LAFC, Houston Dynamo, Cincinnati, or the Columbus Crew? This flashback is presented by JCPenney, and we're going back to 2017, the 4th round of the U.S. Open Cup. Cincinnati taking on the Columbus in the first ever meeting.
U.S. Open Cup, the first single elimination match between these two. Guess what? Tonight is the second. You guys know the name GB Fall? He is the legend in Cincinnati who will never have to buy a beer himself in that city ever again. Scored the lone goal, beating the Crew, giving Cincinnati the hype that allowed them to push their way into Major League Soccer. Later on in this competition, Don Garber was in the house as they lost in the semifinals to the Red Bulls, but 277 days later, they were into MLS.
I cannot wait for this match tonight. The Columbus Crew taking on Cincinnati to see who will host in Ohio in that December 9th final. Cannot wait to keep you tuned to that. We caught up with both head coaches ahead of this one.
Conference final. Which do you prefer from your team today, style or substance?
Both, because again, we are not playing like that to create a brand or something like that. We play like that because we believe that this is the best chance for us to win a game. And after that, we could be ugly also sometimes, you know, because depending the opposition, if we have to defend. And but again, we believe that we have to be consistent. It's been the case during the year, and this is why we are here. So imagine if I ask my player to change now, this is going to be difficult. So again, this is the way we play, this is the way we live, this is the way we are, and again, with a lot of humility, we know that it's going to be a tough game because Cincinnati has been really good this season. But yeah, we are here to play and to do well.
Wilfried, all the best today. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
You know, this team's here for a reason, and you know, these guys are ready for the opportunity. They've stepped up all year, and you know, I trust the fact that they're ready to step on the field against a very good side, a rival, and put together a good performance.
Columbus is the highest scoring team in the league. You know them well. They're your rival. But you enter this match without the MLS Defender of the Year, Matt Miazga, without another starter on the back line in Nick Hagglund. How do you stop Columbus's attack today?
Yeah, we're going to have to be really sharp along the back line. I also think it has to be our on-the-ball decision-making. You know, we can't just rely on the back line and Roman to come up with individual plays. We got to be good with the ball so we can take away some of their strengths about how they can attack, how they can attack with numbers. So I think the balance of with and without the ball and the quality and the decision-making and being decisive will be very important tonight.
Thanks a lot for the time, Pat. All the best.
Speaking of quality, this man right here, Lucho Acosta, league MVP and well-deserved, the conductor for this FC Cincinnati side. But who's been his partner in crime, Weeby?
Aaron Bupinza needs to be that partner in crime, and we've seen moments where Lucho and Bupinza have found a way to coexist on the field, and when they do, you get times like this break, the motion that they both have. It's in this left-hand flank BWP where they just have to understand where the space is and how to find it.
Put him in these moments as much as you can. The goal against Red Bull, that's where I want to see Bupinza. The finish is outstanding. Here, head up, running forward, getting into the box. If they can use him like this today, they got a good chance against Columbus.
Cincinnati gonna have to break the counter press of the Crew. So much talk about Columbus's possession, but it's not just that, Sasha. Once you get out, you got to go direct.
No, and this is where I'll be watching when Lucho Acosta shows up on that left side of the field where he likes to operate. And then when Bupinza is watching what Acosta is doing, it's a high-level striker. He knows that Acosta will see him, he will find him, and put him the ball in a good spot to make finishes like that.
Watch him wheel around. Who's he pointing at? Lucho. These are the moments they need tonight to get a huge win in Hell is Real and book that spot in MLS Cup.
It's scary to think for FC Cincinnati that Brandon Vasquez has yet to step up like we did see last season. So let's go to prediction time, gentlemen. Just a few minutes remaining. Who do you got?
I was all in on FC Cincinnati. With Miazga out, no Wobodo, I'm on the Crew. I think they win this match. I get it, Brad. You're motioning me over. I'm joining your bandwagon, man.
Wobodo is on the bench, so maybe a little bit of positive as the game opens up.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Crew. I think they get the away win.
Cincinnati has won these 1-0 games all season long. It has led to this moment. Daft Punk is in the house to watch Cincinnati win 1-0 again tonight.
A big one here tonight out east. Who will book their ticket at home in Ohio? Will it be Cincinnati or will it be the Columbus Crew? Stick around. We got all this coverage coming next with Taylor Twellman and Jake Zivin.
JCPenney is here for you every holiday to make every gift special, every moment matter, and every dollar count. So give the sweater that hugs you back, bake the cookies that melt your heart, and cherish the morning you'll always remember. JCPenney, make your holidays count.
I know my Old Spice long-lasting scents anywhere.
That's me, Mr. Cole.
Oh.
Let's talk about a raise.
Some people just know that the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on Paul. You don't want to ride with Paul. Or Sarah. Not today, anyway. And you don't want a rate based on Ben. He's got some important business to take care of. Why would you pay a rate based on anyone else? With Allstate, you're connected to a rate based on you.
You care about a clean future. And so do we. The right nutrition today. and more recyclable packaging tomorrow. Purina cares here and here.
Goals aren't just planned for the field, they're planned for life. No more with RBC Wealth Management.
Welcome to the Audi 2023 MLS Cup playoffs, and welcome to Cincinnati, Ohio for Major League Soccer's Eastern Conference Final. The 3 seed in the East, Cucho Hernandez and the Columbus Crew travel 110 miles down the highway to face their rivals, the league MVP Lucho Acosta and the Supporter Shield winners FC Cincinnati, for a chance to host MLS Cup. Good evening from a rocking and sold-out Cincinnati, Ohio. That was the scene outside of TQL Stadium. The party is now inside the stadium as there are just 4 teams remaining in the Audi 2023 MLS Cup playoffs. MLS Cup will be in Ohio next Saturday. The winner of FC Cincinnati and the Columbus Crew will host the winner of tonight's Western Conference Final, LAFC in Houston, which follows this match. FC Cincinnati led the league with 69 points this year, winning their first trophy, the Supporter Shield. Here is their starting 11 for the Eastern Conference Final. They get back Santiago Arias from injury, but Taylor, they are still without 3 starters. Nick Hagglund, Obina Wobudo, and the MLS Defender of the Year, suspended Matt Miazga.
Mascara was fantastic last week against the Philadelphia Union. More touches than anyone, along with the game-winning goal. I think Powell and Murphy need to be very disciplined in staying connected to force Columbus around them. I think Kubo's the key here. He's got to be very good in moments where he can push the tempo, but he's got to have balance. He can't get caught defending too deep, because that's going to leave Vasquez and Bupenza alone by themselves up front.
The Columbus Crew, meanwhile, are unchanged from the team that beat Orlando 2-0 in extra time last week. It's the 3rd straight match with this 11.
The well-oiled machine Columbus Crew continue under Wilfred Nancy, 3-4-3, with a ton of flexibility within the system. Morera and Amundsen are natural fullbacks. They'll underlap in possession to create overloads in the midfield. Farsi over Gressel because he's a better one-on-one defender. Morris and Nagby, technical, but a good sense in pressing, while Matan and Rossi will rotate and pull defenders in bad positions to open it up for Cucho Hernandez up front.
Tonight is a meeting of 2 of the most electric attackers in Major League Soccer. These are the players to watch, presented by RBC Wealth Management, starting with the league MVP Luciano Acosta.
He's been everything and then some since returning to Major League Soccer, already with more goals and assists in 3 seasons than he had in all of the 4 years with DC United. Ability to float into space, the ability to score the spectacular goal. He can score goals in a variety of ways. However, in the playoffs, he's averaging 15 fewer touches. If FC Cincinnati is going to host MLS Cup next week, he's got to be the best player on the field with the more touches, because the best player on the field from Columbus side is Cucho Hernandez. 23 goals, 14 assists in all competitions, but he's so much more than that. The ability to create off the dribble, to finish with both feet, having the fantastic movement off the ball that drives defenders crazy. He's in great form in the moment. 5 goals in his last 6 appearances. If Columbus play in their 3rd MLS Cup final, it will be because Cucho Hernandez took him there. Those were the players to watch, presented by RBC Wealth Management, proud partner of Major League Soccer.
2 years ago, this would be unthinkable. After 3 straight wooden spoon last place finishes in MLS, FC Cincinnati is hosting the Eastern Conference Final against their rivals. Kickoff coming up from Ohio.
Every family has one. You know the one who pushes the limits.
Chevrolet, together let's drive.
If working hard is essential to get where you want to be, you need something that gets you going and keeps you going on the path to your true potential. You need a spotter, a running mate, a loyal companion. You need Celsius. Every drop is essential. Celsius, essential energy.
Ilie can win MLS Cup with this kick.
Game on the line. How do I make the smart choice? I remember what's worked and what hasn't. This goalie knows exactly where I'm going to shoot. He's smart, but hesitant. I'm not, or I'm right, all in. So let it fly.
Yes! What a smart choice by Ilie!
Continental, the smart choice in tires.
Welcome back to TQL Stadium. You see the tifo being unveiled above the Bailey. It says, "Hell is real." That is the name of this derby, named after a billboard on I-71 in between Cincinnati and Columbus. This is the 14th time these teams have met. The first one, Cincinnati wasn't even in MLS. They were in second division USL in the 4th round of the US Open Cup in front of 30,000 at Nippert Stadium. The lower division team upset the team from MLS, Taylor, and introduced Cincinnati to American soccer.
Because the following week they were on national television in the Open Cup game against the Chicago Fire, winning that game on penalties. I remember Columbus Crew under Greg Berhalter fielding a pretty strong team, yet 30,000 plus in the entire country now knowing what the Bailey, Nippert, and FC Cincinnati were about. The problem for Jeff Birding and FC Cincinnati, since then, they've only won 2 in 12, and those 2 were in this building.
These are the games where stars become legends. The first legend, GB Fall in 2017 in this derby. Who will be the latest? We find out. Kickoff is next.
How will I know where to start? Striving for more isn't just for the field, it's for life. Know more with RBC Wealth Management.
It's not just designed to look good. It's built to command attention. It's not just a comfortable interior. It's a quiet refuge. They're not just headlights. They light the way forward. The fully electric Audi Q8 e-tron.
Before I met your mom, I was a covert assassin. I escaped that life, and now they found us.
What the? Who are you? James Bond?
All right, stop. I'm still the man you married.
You weren't in a band or vegan, Dan. You were an assassin for hire. And now you're driving a minivan?
I love that minivan.
The Family Plan. Streaming soon on Apple TV+. Rated PG-13.
There are trucks, then there's the truck, GMC Sierra. Available with the V8 engine. The Super Cruise hands-free driving experience. And of course, the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. Not just any truck, the truck.
This is the head-to-head presented by GMC. We are professional grade. Columbus, the highest scoring team in Major League Soccer this year. Those numbers include the playoffs. The biggest contrast between these two clubs, by the halves. In the first half, it's Columbus, the best goal differential in the first 45 in Major League goal differential after halftime. Which team will control their part of the game in this Eastern Conference Final with a spot in MLS Cup on the line. A hell is real derby, 110 miles separating FC Cincinnati and the Columbus Crew. This is what you want this time of year. The MLS Eastern Conference Final is underway at TQL Stadium in Cincinnati. FC Cincinnati hosting the Columbus Crew. FC Cincinnati in the blue and orange. Columbus in their yellow and black. The winner of this match will host MLS Cup next week against the Western Conference champion, either LAFC or Houston. Columbus coming forward immediately. Cucho Hernandez out wide to Mo Farsi. Back to Cucho. Chance to cross, cleared away by Ian Murphy. Jake Zivin and Taylor Twellman with you tonight at TQL Stadium. Taylor, where is this game won?
The game's going to be won in transition. In the 4 games that Nancy and Pat Noonan have gone up against each other, there's been 22 goals scored. There's going to be goals in an Eastern Conference Final. Yet why do I say transition? Columbus is arrogant, they're aggressive, they will leave themselves exposed. If FC Cincinnati is led by Acosta, Vasquez, and Bupenza, then it's going to be a long night for the team in Columbus. If not, the team in yellow and black could surprise the 26,000 plus in this building.
It is Columbus on the front foot to begin. Farsi, Cucho on it. Cucho curling and easy for Roman Celentano to go down and make the first save of the Eastern Conference Final. FC Cincinnati's second-year manager, Pat Noonan, the MLS Coach of the Year, took over a team that finished in last place in Major League Soccer in its first 3 seasons. Brought them to the playoffs last year in his first year, and now in his second year in charge, a Supporters Shield, the top seed in the East, and hosting the Eastern Conference Final. As a player or an assistant coach, he's been in 9 of these, 9 conference finals. This club has not been in one yet. Pat Noonan's record in those 9, by the way, 6-3. And Wilfried Nancy, his first year in Columbus, came over from Montreal, leads his team in a unique way in Major League Soccer. He wants them to be uncomfortable, wants them to take risks. He told us he's very happy with the progress that this team has made throughout the season. They're playing the way that he wants. For a neutral, it's engaging, it's invigorating. Highest scoring team in the league, they do it with a smile, reflecting their manager. This is not a surprise that Columbus is on the ball early. They had the highest possession in Major League Soccer this year. They want to dominate games. Malte Amundsen is forward. Back to Diego Rossi. He has some space. Floating it towards Farsi. Moreno intervened. And then Barrial sends it out into touch.
Over the lineups, though, I told you about Amundsen and Morera and their propensity to go forward. They'll underlap, they'll come inside, they'll cause overloads in wide channels, they'll cause overloads in the midfield, but they push so many numbers forward, Columbus Crew do, under Wilfried Nancy, that you've got to be so disciplined, not necessarily tracking your runners, but defending your space. That's what FC Cincinnati worked all day long yesterday with Murphy and Powell next to Mascaro.
Of Columbus's 3 center backs, as Kubo follows Nagbe, 2 of them are converted. Amundsen, who you just saw come forward, he's a converted left back. Steven Morera, a converted right back. It's a very attack-minded Columbus Crew approach.
Because they all have the ability to step in the midfield with the ball. Kubo's going to have his hands full all night long chasing Darlington Nagbe. His smooth touches, his ability to break you down with the ball at his feet. Cincinnati knows they're going to defend for long stretches of the game, but I think for this environment to still be a factor in the game, when they win the ball, they've got to be very effective going forward, especially if they're going to play direct.
The 13th time since both of these teams have been in Major League Soccer that they have met. Columbus has won 6 of the previous 12, just 2 wins for Cincinnati. One of those this year at TQL Stadium on May 20th. Columbus won the match at Lower.com Field in Columbus 3-0 on August 20th. it is usually fun. The goals fly in the Hell is Real derby. Acosta to Arias. Bupenza in the middle. First time cross blocked by Amundsen. Then he gets it away, and it's out for a goal kick.
Well, and Arias is going to be massive tonight. So much experience playing in World Cups, Champions League games, and whatnot, and understanding the role that he has defending first. But when he can get forward, particularly on the counter like we just saw, he's got to be very effective with that final ball delivery.
Dealing with a leg injury, he missed the match against Philadelphia last week in the Eastern Conference semifinal. Recovered in time to start in this match. As we've mentioned, Cincinnati without Obina Wobodo, their midfield general.
It's the fact that when he does win possession the way he often has done throughout the entire year, his first ball is to Acosta, who floats off into space very well.
These are the moments for Cincinnati to take advantage. Bupenza still has it, and then it's cleared by Amundsen. Do you expect to see this all night? Columbus possessing, Cincinnati trying to win the ball and go quick.
Yeah, but if you're FC Cincinnati and Pat Noonan, you want Bupenza to be a little bit more efficient in those moments. On the pregame show here on Apple TV and MLS 360, I said the X factors, Bupenza and Vasquez. It's one thing to be unpredictable, but you don't want to be unpredictable and ineffective with your teammates. There's a great counterattack opportunity right there for Bupenza. Too many sloppy touches. He's got to be quick, he's got to be definitive, and make sure Columbus has to defend him first.
Joined Cincinnati in the summer, a reported $7 million transfer, an international for Gabon. Scored the game-tying goal in match 2 of round 1 away at New York. Eventually a game that went to penalties and sent Cincinnati through.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You can feel the energy through your television.
Is that pressure?
Cincinnati has a lot of confidence at times when they have the ball. They're not going to sit in a low block the entire time, but when they do have the ball, can they get the energy behind them? Can they get the home crowd behind them? And more importantly, get the Major League Soccer MVP as many touches as he can.
My question on this atmosphere and them playing at home, is that pressure or is that privilege for FC Cincinnati?
I think it's both. I don't think it's mutually exclusive. I think there's pressure because you want to deliver. You want to play in front of your family, your fans, deliver as you did with the Supporter Shield. It's also an absolute privilege to represent the city of Cincinnati in this environment. I think it's both.
Cucho into Morera, over to Diego Rossi. Leaves for Yeboah. Back to Darlington Nagbe. Rossi. Tried to get it to Cucho, it was right to Mosquera. Now Kubo just into space for Brandon Vasquez. He's behind Amundsen. Looking for Bupenza. Morera there for Columbus. Pat Noonan making the motion after that last break. Calm down. Are they going too quick, Cincinnati?
No, I think what he's saying to Brandon Vasquez, you made the perfect run. Take an extra touch. Be a little bit more selfish. Referee blowing the whistle here for a suspected head injury on Diego Rossi. But I understand the frustration. Kubo and FC Cincinnati, they had Columbus a little bit out of position. He doesn't blow the whistle for a foul. He blows the whistle because Diego Rossi is holding his head as Mascara wins the ball. So now the question will be, will Columbus play this ball back to Cincinnati as they should? What an environment this is.
It is great. Over 25,000 at TQL Stadium. Building that opened up 2 years ago amidst a wooden spoon season, a wooden spoon run. Packed out, sold out once again this year. It's been a fortress for FC Cincinnati. 19 wins, all competitions in this building. They won their first 10 MLS home games this season. That tied the league record. One more win at TQL Stadium, that would match the MLS all competitions record for home wins in a season with 3 other teams. And one more win tonight would mean a chance to break that record on Saturday, hosting MLS Cup. Acosta, defended by Nagbe, tries to spray it out to Arias. One ball behind Yeboah, who recovers well to win it and keep it in play. High pressure from FC Cincinnati. Alan Chapman brings it back for the foul on Nagbe.
Well, how good is this from Luciano Acosta? He's been averaging 15 fewer touches in the playoff games, and Pat Noonan said, we've got to make a real thing about getting him touches, getting him involved into the game. He's got to be the focal point for us going forward. And Yeboah coming up with a timely tackle in that overlapping run from Arias.
17 goals and 14 assists for Luciano Acosta, the league MVP. Second most goals in the league, those 31 goal contributions, most in MLS.
But what he does extremely well fits into the system for FC Cincinnati. When they're in their rest defense the way they are now, he floats. And so Wilfred Nancy's #1 worry is when they actually have possession, keep an eye on Luciano Acosta, because then he becomes the outlet when Cincinnati wins the ball.
Yeah, Pat Noonan told us they think they have an advantage in the midfield with their 3, Luciano Acosta, Junior Moreno, and Yuya Kubo, against the 2 of Columbus and Darlington Nagbe and Aiden Morris. They can take advantage of a numbers advantage. That's what they want to do today. This is a bad giveaway by Farsi. Bupenza quickly to Vasquez. Can he get the shot away? Vasquez! Front of the Bailey, the supporter shield winners open the scoring through Brandon Vasquez. It's 1-0.
Yeah, but it's the pairing of Bupenza and Vasquez, because this becomes an attacking throw-in for them. Actually, it's a turnover where then Bupenza finds the quick ball into Vasquez's feet. It's one thing to have the Major League Soccer MVP, but the supporting cast has to show up. Bupenza with a great ball forward, and guess who showed up from 2022 into December of 2023? Brandon Vasquez. One touch, prepare, and finish. How about that start here in the Queen City? Brandon Vasquez, FC Cincinnati, 1-0.
He was scoreless in his last 6 games, all competitions. Maybe a bit of a down year for him, just 8 goals in regular season play. He had 16 all competitions for FC Cincinnati, coming off a year where he was best 11, last year 18 goals. Well, no bigger moment than this one for Brandon Vasquez to open the scoring for FC Cincinnati. And they have been unbeatable this year when scoring the first goal in MLS regular season play and the playoffs, 19-0-4. Now a 24th time scoring first. And remember, Cincinnati they're the second half team. Columbus, they're the first half team. It's a big goal from FC Cincinnati.
However, Will Nancy said one thing. The first 20 minutes when we played here this year, we were not good. Because the Bailey and the environment can be imposing and make us at times a little mentally soft. That is exactly what happened there, and FC Cincinnati took advantage of it.
That game on May 20th, it was 2-0 Cincinnati in the 23rd minute.
Yep.
But Columbus came back, they made it 2-2. And then a second half goalkeeping error by Patrick Schulte gave Cincinnati their third goal. It was a 3-2 win. Columbus will need to respond similarly. Acosta coming forward. Barreal cutting to his right. Barreal curling, punched away by Schulte, just out of the reach of Brandon Vasquez.
Well, this is what Columbus do. This is how they play. They will leave themselves exposed a little bit. I think Barreal's been the best wingback in all of Major League. It back to his right foot. Patrick Schulte coming up with a big save as Columbus are under pressure here.
This is direct for Cucho. Alvis Powell is tracking. Rossi and Matan, this is numbers for Columbus if they can take advantage. This is Diego Rossi, patient, Rossi! Blocked by Mosquera, back to Cucho, off the line by Powell! Yeboah now for Columbus. Cucho taken away by Kubo, and then again, Aiden Morris on it, he can hit it from distance, it's blocked by Moreno. What a start.
It's 18 minutes in. We're going 1,000 miles an hour. Give me this for 90 minutes plus.
Oh, they can do it as well. You know it. Here's Matan. Morera on the ground looking for Rossi. Broken up. Barreal wanted to let that run out. It wasn't going to, and he has to concede a throw.
I mean, look at how many yellow shirts are forward. Morera's playing almost as a central midfielder, and if you play the ball into the feet of Boupendza and Vasquez and they keep possession, you're gonna catch Columbus on the counter. Great step there from Camacho.
He takes it off of Acosta. Now Cucho over to Yeboah. Diego Rossi. Alexandru Matan. Back towards Rossi. That came off of Arias, and it's handled by Celentano.
Well, this was the last chance from Columbus, and this is what Cucho does arguably better than any 9 in this league, is his ability to pull off defenders' shoulders. More often than not, it's going to be on the left side of the attack. But watch Alvis Powell. You got to react. You got to be aware consistently. That ball is by Celentano, but it's not by Alvis Powell. A huge question mark for Pat Noonan. Raymond Gaddis or Alvis Powell? Alvis Powell's played in 2 MLS Cups for the Portland Timbers. He came up massive with that clearance off the goal line.
He won it in 2015 against these Columbus crew. It told us he's the best communicator on this back line now. It's a big reason why he's in there. That's something that would be shocking to people that were around now this earlier in his career. A shy teenager that came to Portland. Cucho's shot is blocked by Barreal.
It's just relentless from Columbus. We can talk about them scoring more goals than anyone in the league. We can talk about them scoring more goals than anyone in the league on the road. But it's such a joy to watch them when they lose possession in the attacking third. How they are just on the front foot and they're putting you under pressure. Nervy moment here for Pat Noonan and his staff with Mosquera, who was great last week against Philadelphia. He's been good tonight.
He's already down 2 starting center backs in an injured Nick Hagglund and a suspended Matt Miazga. And now his stud 22-year-old Yerson Mosquera dealing with something 20 minutes into this match. Wincing. He's going to stay in, and the athletic training staff hasn't come out for him. But something to watch as this goes on. Yerson Mosquera being asked to play in the middle of the three. A bit uncomfortable for him. Pat Noonan said he wants him to be quicker on the ball when he gets it than he was last game. But he thought that was the best option given the unavailabilities that Cincinnati face right now. Farsi, under pressure, turns away from Barrial, finds Matan. Now Rossi, he's trying it, blocked by Moreno. Morris now, over to Yeboah, it's a good floated ball. Yeboah, Arias defending, gives up the first corner of the match.
Cheeky defending from Arias because he got caught out a little bit. Yeboah had the right space in the touch. His defensive awareness is his strongest asset.
They go quick. Cucho's cross blocked by Bupenza. Morris, Amundsen. Mosquera heads away. Camacho still forward. Morris now shifts it to his left and hits it over.
Let's go back to the goal because I want you to see Columbus and how they leave themselves exposed by just one losing possession in their defensive third, but the reaction from the players in yellow, it's not quick enough. They lose the ball right here. It's played to Bupenza, but immediately someone has to slide over. Amundsen doesn't slide over fast enough, and that's the little half spaces that if you have a clean first touch the way Vasquez has, you're going to give yourself opportunities against Patrick Schulte and the Columbus crew.
The giveaway on the goal was from Mo Farsi. That was a big decision by Wilfred Nancy 2 games ago to start Mo Farsi over Julian Gressel. He's done it now for a 3rd straight match. He says he wanted his pace in there as Moreira sends it in. Howell doesn't get it clear. Moreira over to Yeboah. Cucho into Rossi, back to Cucho, blocked by Moreno. Vasquez, Bupenza, he's thinking about it. That's going to go to the Bailey.
Yeah, but look at exactly what Pat Noonan's telling Bupenza. Turn around, get in your defensive shape, and that's the unpredictability I'm talking about.
You like that?
You got to temper it.
Yeah.
You don't want your center forwards or your attacking players overthinking it. But on the other hand, against Columbus, if you're smart and pragmatic in your counter, you're going to get opportunities. Sometimes simple's better.
Farsi. Mosquera sends it away. Moreno draws the foul. Well, let's go back to Mo Farsi, Taylor. The decision from Wilfred Nancy to start him now for a 3rd straight game over Julian Gressel. He's going to have to bounce back after an error. Think there's any regret there at this moment?
No, there's no regret because I think no matter who's playing in that position, Columbus will have some mistakes. He likes Farsi because he's a better one-on-one defender. I'm a little shocked that Gressel hasn't seamlessly fit in, and some of that is because Cucho's not your typical 9, where he loves to get on the end of crosses the way Julian Gressel and Joseph Martinez were in Atlanta. So they want a little bit more energy in that spot. That's why Farsi's there. It's one thing to lose the ball the way Farsi did. It's another for collective regroup and filling in. I think you got to just tip your cap. Brandon Vasquez was just better on the day.
Now Columbus, Rossi, Matan. Cucho, Rossi. Poked away by Kubo only as far as Cucho Hernandez. Farsi just couldn't get the touch. Cincinnati playing today without the MLS Defender of the Year, Matt Miazga, serving the first of a 3-match suspension because of misconduct after their match at New York at the Red Bulls in match 2, round 1 of the MLS Cup in 26 minutes. How was Cincinnati dealt with not having their Defender of the Year?
They're bending but not breaking, but it's still a lot of pressure, particularly on Moreno and Kubo in front of Mascara. Listen, they were without Matt Miazga last week. Mascara had more touches than anyone on the field. He scored the game-winning goal. I think he fits in fine there. I think the bigger miss is without Woboda.
Yeah.
And I think Moreno and Kubo have their hands full with just how quick Morris and Nagbe will bypass them with combinations, but also look at where Rossi operates majority of the game. It's right next to Kubo. So while Pat Noonan feels like it's 3 against 2, it's more 4v3 in Columbus's favor because Matan and Rossi play more central than they do as out-and-out wingers.
Obina Wobodo is available on the bench for Pat Noonan today, dealing with a foot injury. Here's Yeboah for Columbus. In towards Cucho, off of Mascara. Diego Rossi is shouting for a handball. It was not given. Camacho goes back to Schulte. Morris into Rossi. Broken up by Arias. Lucho left it for Vasquez. Luciano Acosta continuing his run and just a little too far from Brandon Vasquez. Would probably want the roles reversed in that moment.
That's fine, but if instead of playing the hero ball, that one wasn't on, just bring it around, play it into Barreal. You've got to have spells of possession. It's only 28 minutes into this game. The last thing you want to do is just bunker in against this Columbus team. With Cucho, Rossi playing off of him, Matan, Morris, Nagbe, they've got too many players that can break you down in rhythm and against a low block here. Cincinnati's got to be careful.
That ball stayed in play. Oh, Bupensa, so good. And then the ball to Acosta, let him down. Here comes Columbus now on the counter. Rossi. Morera. Mo Farsi gets around Barreal. Oh, still Mo Farsi. He goes down. Alan Chapman says play on, and Mascara just dumps it forward.
I think that's going to be, that's a close challenge from Barreal. That's the thing about Mo Farsi. You think about his profile and his pedigree, he's one of the best futsal players ever. So in these situations, when the game's tight and it's fast, he's completely comfortable in those. He really took on Barreal. That was a close challenge, very close for a penalty.
Mo Farsi was the 2020 Canadian Futsal Player of the Year. Parlayed that into a stint with Calvary FC in the Canadian Premier League. Then to Columbus Crew 2 last year and signed to the first team last summer. A best 11 player, MLS Next Pro in 2022. One of a group of Crew 2 players that won the league last year and now are contributing for the first team. Moreira cuts inside. Morris over to Yeboah. So much good possession from Columbus so far tonight. Can they find a goal?
When you watch their spells of possession, everything's on an angle. Nothing is direct. There's rotations of players. They pull you in bad spots, but every pass and every spot is on an angle. And then when they win possession, they're in good spots to then be 3v2, 4v3. You just feel like at times you're chasing shadows when you defend them.
Matan into Rossi. Yeboah looking for Cucho. Moreno is there to cover, and the offside flag came up on Yao Yeboah.
The offside was actually on Yeboah right before that ball that was played forward. But either way, Rossi comes into the pocket. Yeboah then becomes your vertical threat. You're seeing the same thing with Farsi. They're really a pleasure to watch because when they get possession in numbers forward, everything that Wilfred Nancy does, it's almost identical to Patrick Vieira. It's about overloads and creating advantages with the ball.
Cucho takes a deflection, out for a corner.
I mean, look at where Cucho's hanging out. It's always behind the defenders in channels. That was close to being offside. Great recovery from Ian Murphy. How often this year have we seen Cucho Hernandez get into that spot and drilling it near post? Good defending from FC Cincinnati in transition.
Cucho has 4 goals in the playoffs, tied for most in the league. Rossi into the near post. Moreno heads it back where it came from, out for a throw. By Kubo, set piece coming for Columbus. They go quick. Barrera, Mo Farsi. They want a handball, they get it. Another set piece coming up for the Crew.
Attacking set piece here for the Columbus Crew, which I think it's important for the viewers at home to understand. FC Cincinnati worked a ton on this situation over the last 3 or 4 days, not defending it. How to counterattack out of this situation right here.
They have not allowed a goal on a set piece since July 1st in MLS regular season play and the playoffs combined. Nagby. Morris. Yeboah. Amundsen. Nobody there for Columbus. Celentano will let it run out. The Audi 2023 MLS Cup playoffs continue next with the Western Conference Final. LAFC hosting the Houston Dynamo. Coverage begins immediately following our match tonight here on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Cincinnati or Columbus will host the Western Conference winner in Saturday's MLS Cup. That game will be in Ohio. Will it be in Southern or Central? Right now, it's the team from the southern tip of the state, FC Cincinnati, with a 1-0 lead over their rival Columbus Crew. Brandon Vasquez in the 14th minute, the lone goal in this match. going forward. Into Morris. Ran into Cucho. Cleared by Cincinnati. Columbus is getting into these really dangerous spots. How do they convert?
I think you keep trying to knock the door down, honestly.
Yep.
You be very stubborn in the way that you've dominated possession, you've dominated the tempo of the game. Now, Boupendza and Vasquez, they're very powerful, and they're causing nightmares for Columbus on the counter. However,
Cucho, big save! Roman Celentano really tested for the first time tonight.
but it's right on cue. You're asking me, how do they break it down? This is a silly foul here from Camacho on Acosta, but how about this ball into Cucho Hernandez? Everything about that is perfect, other than it's right at the goalkeeper. But the ball in from Morera is hit with a real pace where all it is a redirection because the pace is behind the ball. Unfortunate for Columbus, fortunate for that man, right at him. Big time save from Celentano.
This is a matchup of two young and promising and talented goalkeepers. Roman Celentano, 23 years old, the number 2 overall pick in the 2022 Super Draft. 10 picks later, Columbus took Patrick Schulte, 22 years old now. Schulte was Columbus's hero in the Eastern Conference semifinal on Saturday. 3 saves in extra time when they were up 1-0.
The best part is he had 0 touches basically in the first 90 minutes of that game.
When it was 0-0, then they go up a goal.
It's the hardest job of a goalkeeper. You've got to be called upon, and it can take a long time for that moment to come. And Patrick Schulte delivered.
Both of these keepers beat out more experienced veteran goalkeepers for the role. For Schulte, it was Aloy Rube, who was Columbus's starter for years. Patrick Schulte got a chance early in this season. Wilfred Nancy trusted him and stayed with him. Wilfred Nancy told us that he first knew that Patrick Schulte was ready for this in last year's MLS Next Pro Final. He tried to move in the midfield, he lost it, and he said, that guy's confident enough to play for me. Cucho now for the crew. Yuya Kubo took it away. Direct for Vasquez. Flag is down for now. Boupendza in the middle, Acosta trailing. Vasquez trying to find Boupendza. Cleared out for a corner for FC Cincinnati in front of the Bailey.
That is such a good ball from Kubo. It is so good. The power of Vasquez is difficult to handle when you're Columbus. And if you're going to leave yourself exposed, there is 26,000 in this building that understand a simple, direct ball over the top to allow Vasquez to run onto it. That second goal can be on the horizon here. 7 goals FC Cincinnati scored off the corners. Columbus, they gave up 7 off the corners. Cincinnati thinks they got an advantage.
Acosta serves, flicked away by Farsi, only as far as Kubo, not clear, and then blocked. Acosta was offside. Maybe Mascara was as well. Acosta disagrees. Mascara is still down. Now back to his feet, but remember, earlier was dealing with something. Their center back, and once again, for a second time in this first half, is kind of slow to get up.
Well, the initial injury in this game where you saw Mascara grabbing his leg, he rolled his ankle off the ball, and since then, he's been a little timid, but that one just trying to strike the ball went right through and hit the defender's foot. No foul whatsoever.
Acosta wins it back, wins the throw.
But to come out of this game in this moment, Mascara better lose a leg or a toe or body part to come out of this one.
It doesn't look like he wants to. He hasn't even asked for any assistance from Cincinnati's athletic training staff. Back to Barreal. Whips the cross in. Schulte will catch.
I am very, very curious how Wilfred Nancy looks in this first half. And what does he do in the second half? When they beat FC Cincinnati, now listen, it wasn't FC Cincinnati's best 11, I get that. But when they won 3-0, Christian Ramirez was the 9, Cucho Hernandez played off of that. Do not be shocked at halftime if that's the move from Wilfred Nancy.
Farsi was onside, gets around Barreal, is fouled, and a dangerous set piece upcoming for Columbus.
Well, this is part of the reason why Wilfred Nancy went for him over Julian Gresso. He likes his ability to break down defenders one-on-one. He likes his confidence in these moments. As we said, the Canadian Futsal Player of the Year. He's going to ask questions of Barreal, who's not a great defender in those moments. What a dangerous set piece here for Columbus.
In the final 5 minutes of the first half. Columbus trailing 1-0 in the Eastern Conference Final away at their rivals. Diego Rossi and Alexandru Matan over it for the crew. Matan leaves it for Rossi on the ground. A letdown cleared easily by Arias.
What we talk about in the pregame, you need experience in big moments, don't you? Two-time World Cup player, 3 titles with PSV. Arias coming up big. He read that one perfectly. That was straight from the training ground. Throw as many numbers forward, roll the ball back to the penalty spot. Arias already read that chapter.
Did they overthink it in that moment?
Not necessarily, because the angle, you're hitting it with an outswinging ball. I understand that type of ball there. I think it's got to be delivered with maybe a little bit more pace, but no matter what, Arias had read that.
The Colombian international has been to 2 World Cups with Colombia. It was big for Pat Noonan to get Arias back today. Again, it's Columbus. Matan into a dangerous spot. Not clear. Rossi went down. Alan Chapman saw it. Waved Rossi to get up. Video assistant referee is Yunus Marakshi. He'll be looking at this moment. Meanwhile, Bupenza gave it away. Nagbe to Matan. Farsi overlapping. Farsi gets the cross in. Cucho battling for Rossi, acrobatic. Salentano with something to do to backpedal and catch, and a late offside flag then is raised.
I think he's calling the ball out of bounds on the ball that was played in from Farsi, but either way, Diego Rossi's asking, I was brought down. Well, this is the play where the ball was out of bounds. Absolutely.
Vasquez is fouled by Morera.
Well, the 4th official is getting an absolute earful from the Columbus Crew bench because they felt that this was a penalty. Kubo coming in the backside of Diego Rossi, and it's difficult because where the challenge happens, the ball's by Diego Rossi. The funny thing is, if he blows the whistle, I don't think they're overturning it. It's 6.5 one way, half a dozen the other, and that kind of challenge. But they felt it wasn't clear and obvious in error.
And that clear and obvious threshold that has come to the forefront in these Audi 2023 MLS Cup playoffs.
Because that's not exhausting.
Look, it has to be clear and obvious for the video assistant referee to intervene. Yunus Marakshi did not think that that moment was a clear and obvious error, not to award a penalty.
It's just too sloppy at times from Cincinnati. You cannot weather the storm for this long, and then you get in a good spot, and it's just sloppy from Bupenza and Barreal. You lose possession, and now the team in yellow sets up again, and now you got to defend.
2 minutes, the minimum of first half stoppage time. Yeboah. Arias poked it away. Morris wins it right back.
That is Aiden Morris's best quality, and it's understated. I think to get to the national team and international level, he's got to get a little bit better on the ball. But his tactical understanding in those counter-pressing moments is the reason why he's won more tackles than anyone on this Columbus Crew team. You watch him, you say, wait a minute, he's not the most physical, but his timing of tackles is brilliant.
In the Eastern Conference semifinal last week, it was Aiden Morris. Won the ball for Columbus, led to that first goal in extra time. Mariano for Cincinnati. Through to Vasquez. Schulte stays on his line. Vasquez was tripped up. This is just outside of the box. It's a yellow card to Steven Moreira, the first player in the book tonight.
Moreira just clips the left foot of Brandon Vasquez, but that is very, very close to almost Brandon Vasquez tripping over his own feet. It almost looked like Brandon Vasquez's left foot clipped his right heel.
It was close.
Either way,
to say.
Lucha Acosta won't mind.
What a moment this could be for FC Cincinnati. They have a 1-goal lead thanks to Brandon Vasquez in the 14th minute. They have otherwise been mostly defending this entire first half.
Are you a little surprised here in this angle? You've got two of the shorter players, not only on Columbus, but in the league, in Matan and Rossi in this wall here.
Will Cincinnati take advantage? Acosta curling and in! What a moment from the MVP! Luciano Acosta, just before halftime, doubles FC Cincinnati's lead. It's a dream first half at TQL Stadium.
Cheeky, brilliant, timely, everything about this you love, because Columbus think he's going to hit this direct. But no way. And they're caught a little flat-footed. This is inexcusable. The moment that ball touches, you've got to be rushing to get in front of Luciano Acosta. That half a second you wait, the clever bending ball in front of the rushing bodies in front of Patrick Schulte, impossible to pick up. What a massive goal here in Cincinnati. The MVP is delivered. It is 2-0 here at halftime.
That was the final kick of the first half. It's a familiar script between these two teams. The last time they played here, it was FC Cincinnati taking a 2-0 lead. Columbus came back on May 20th to make it 2-2 before FC Cincinnati eventually won 3-2. The Crew will have to do the same to try to keep their season alive. They had the ball for the majority of the first half. They created some chances, but ultimately, the two moments for the Supporter Shield winners, FC Cincinnati, the 2 goals, and Cincinnati leads 2-0 at the half. We'll be back to break it down from TQL Stadium.
Make sure you keep your eyes on the road.
Early payday. Fee-free overdrafts. Easy credit building. When your money's good, you feel good. Chime, the #1 most loved banking app.
filling the trades gap.
barely making a sound, and command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters.
Welcome into our halftime report presented by Audi. Currently 2-0 lead for the Supporter Shield winners, FC Cincinnati. Vasquez in the 14th minute. Lucho Acosta in stoppage time right before the half. A big tap for Wilfred Nancy's men, considering when FC Cincinnati have scored in first half. They've gone 19-0-4. Sasha Kleshin, Bradley Wright-Phillips, Andrew Wiebe, Kaylin Call. You like that stat?
What a game. What a game so far. This is what we've been waiting for the playoffs. The best team, the biggest moments.
Well, let's get you into the highlights in this one over at TQL Stadium. The fans, some of the best in the league, show up rain, snow, or shine. And it started off just in the 14th minute here. A bad giveaway in the middle of the park. And Brandon Vasquez scores this one. Big player stepping up in big moments.
Columbus Crew, you're going to live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. When trying to build up out of the back through possession, you got your right center back trying to play a 1-2. Quick turnover, but great recognition from Bupenza to recognize Vasquez as 1v1, and he does all the rest with the left foot.
Take nothing away from the finish, though. He just gets it under control. A little bit lucky with the touch, but the second one out of his feet, left foot, boom. Arminson in the way of Schulte, no chance.
And Taylor Twellman ahead of this one talked about the X factor in a match like this. Could it and should it be Brandon Vasquez? He made no mistakes, only 8 goals on the season, but scoring in a big moment. But a great opportunity for the Columbus Crew.
How about Elvis Powell? Into this back line because Matt Miazga is suspended, had to deputize, aware, calm on the goal line, a goal-saving header.
And almost out of nothing, a run from Morera into the midfield. He kind of slams this ball a little bit too hard at Cucho Hernandez, right at Celentano, easy save, keeps it 1-0.
The Columbus Crew continued to pour it on late in this one. Barriel with a tackle just outside the 18. Barriel, by the way, had been outstanding in that first 45 minutes in the attack.
Got to be better. That is a poor set-piece service, and this is the moment that changed the match at the end of the first half. Brandon Vasquez, keeping it simple, chase the ball down, be physical. Got a little fortunate, leg to leg by Steven Morera, and that sets up a free kick, Sasha. And when you're standing over this in stoppage time, you're thinking, we have a chance to put this game away.
And it's a massive moment, right? Last seconds stoppage time, and you have 2 players, Barriel and Acosta. Lays it off to Acosta with the fake, and this one just curls in. Schulte can't see it. There are too many bodies in front of him. Off the post and in. That's your league MVP stepping up in the biggest moment to make it 2-0 just before halftime.
Well, speaking of big players stepping up in big moments, a huge goal for Lucho just hitting into the locker room. These are our first 45-minute stats. The shots, 11 for Columbus, 4 of those being on goal. 5 shots for Cincinnati, 3 of those being on goal, and 2 of them being into the back of the net. 2-0 now. Columbus Crew go into the locker room. Wilfred Nancy, a big question mark. Do you bring Christian Ramirez in at 45?
Yes. Wilfred Nancy called Christian Ramirez his Manu Ginobili during the week, his 6th man. They've got to find a way to get the ball central. Right now, everything for the Crew is on those flanks with the fullbacks. It's even numbers. And Cincinnati, credit to Pat Noonan, have a great game plan. You're playing right into the defense's teeth.
Cucho Hernandez gets the goal going into the locker room at 45. How difficult, or sorry, excuse me, Lucho Cucho. How important was that goal in the momentum heading into the locker room?
It's a massive goal, Kaylin. Listen, Wilfred Nancy would have had a whole different team talk. He would have said, we're still in this game, it's just one. We're creating half chances up into the box. Now it's completely changed. He has to throw everything at it.
I'll remind you, first match of the season in Hell is Real was in Cincinnati. Cincinnati was winning 2-0. That game was tied 2-2. Cincinnati got a late goal, but Columbus are certainly not out of this.
We've seen Cincinnati in the first 45 minutes, and you look at the stats, 19-0-4 when leading in that first 45 minutes. How does Columbus turn this around?
That's just a number. 1, bring on Ramirez for me. That's an out-and-out goal scorer. We've seen them do it in the last game. They played against Orlando, great up into the 18-yard box. No one there to finish the chances. That is just a number. They got nothing to lose now.
No, Columbus just needs to be a little bit sharper in the final third. They've gotten into good positions, but when Cucho drops off that back line, someone has to occupy that space in the box and be that striker. Probably going to be Christian Ramirez off the bench, and then they have to be sharper and make the right decisions. I've seen Diego Rossi make the wrong decision a few times. He's got to make the play faster.
Be careful as well. Cincinnati, when they have won the ball, played forward quickly, have had a lot of chances. They haven't been sharp either.
A big task for Columbus moving forward. The top scorers for each team are presented by Audi, the official vehicle of Major League Soccer. For every goal scored during the Audi MLS playoffs, Audi will contribute $2,000 to support MLS academies through the Goals Drive Progress Initiative. LAFC Golden Boot winner Denny Bouanga will host Red Hot Houston and Hector Herrera as they go head-to-head in our Western Conference Final to see who will travel to Ohio for a 2023 December 9th. We'll preview that match coming up next.
Lunch?
Yes, please.
That'll be $23.
Your ad says it's free.
It is for our Economy Ultimate passengers who paid extra.
I'll just have water.
Okay, cash or card?
For water? Well, at AT&T, when we offer you our best iPhone deals, we guarantee it. Even on the new iPhone 15 Pro. Check it out, made with titanium.
We do have free movies, with the purchase of headphones.
I'll just use my iPhone.
Only AT&T gives everyone our best deals on any iPhone with any popular plan. Guaranteed. Get iPhone 15 Pro on us.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters.
Travis, did you know you can get this season's COVID-19 shot when you get your flu shot?
Two things at once.
Two things at once! Two things at once! I'll have two things at once, please. Now back to two things at once. Two things at once.
That's not two things at once.
Mom!
Travis, ask about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot.
How will I know where to start? Striving for more isn't just for the field, it's for life. Know more with RBC Wealth Management.
Welcome back to the Halftime Report presented by Audi.
Great year, but it will always be known as the year that Lionel Messi decided that he was going to come to Major League Soccer. There are a handful of people that will be forever remembered as transforming a sport. People will say, I was there. Ultimately, you'll look back and say that was something that really transformed our league into something bigger and perhaps more important, more relevant than it is today.
Eighteen teams remained after decision day. We are now down to the final four. LAFC taking on the Houston Dynamo later tonight. FC Cincinnati taking on Columbus right now. The final, December 9th, starts at 3 p.m. Eastern. Speaking of our late matchup, LAFC taking on Houston. This is a really interesting match because Houston has been electric, that midfield, how dynamic they've been, but LAFC and Denny Bouanga, Golden Boot winner.
Very exciting match. Houston will control the game with possession. I think we all think that. If Griffin Dorsey bombs down that right side like he's known to do for Houston, Denny Bouanga is going to exploit that space going the other way. That's what I'm keeping an eye on.
It's a similar matchup to what we're watching now. It's a team that values the ball and a team that's devastating in transition. It's going to be an exciting.
I think Houston will look at what hurt the Crew here, those moments when they turn it over, and vow we won't have those instances.
All right, well, let's get you back over to Taylor Twellman and Jake Zivin, who will be on the call for the second 45 minutes. Enjoy.
Finding the right hotel just got easier. Compare and book on the app with Hotels.com.
It's not just designed to look good. It's built to command attention. It's not just a comfortable interior. It's a quiet refuge. They're not just headlights. They light the way forward.
the fully electric Audi Q8 e-tron.
If working hard is essential to get where you want to be, you need something that gets you going and keeps you going on the path to your true potential. You need a spotter, a running mate, a loyal companion. You need Celsius. Every drop is essential. Celsius, essential energy.
Welcome back to TQL Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Eastern Conference Final. FC Cincinnati, the top seed, with a 2-0 lead at halftime, getting ready for the beginning of the second half over the Columbus Crew. This is the supporter cam brought to you by Hotels.com. Find your perfect somewhere on the Hotels.com app. The supporters, they march to the match from over the Rhine to TQL Stadium and then take their seats in the Bailey. And they were thrilled on 2 occasions in the first half. Brandon Vasquez in the 14th minute, Luciano Acosta in first half stoppage time, the final kick of the half. And FC Cincinnati, despite defending for the vast majority of the first half, have a 2-0 lead at halftime. So how did the Stars do in the first half? Lucho versus Cucho. Cincinnati's league MVP, the 1 goal at the end, so important for them. Cucho Hernandez, he was involved. Columbus, they had a lot of the ball in dangerous spots. Unable really, though, to create dangerous chances outside of maybe the 1 shot from Cucho that was saved by Roman Celentano.
It was the other chance he had where Alvis Pau was on the goal line and he had Celentano beat. So Cucho Hernandez had himself a first half. Just unlucky that ball hasn't hit the back of the net yet.
The second half is underway in the Eastern Conference Final. FC Cincinnati with a 2-0 lead. FC Cincinnati in the blue with orange trim. Columbus in the yellow and black. The winner of this match will host MLS Cup next Saturday against the Western Conference champion, either LAFC or Houston. We speculated before halftime about a potential change for Wilfred Nancy. We don't see it at halftime, but what do Columbus need to do, Taylor, to come back in this match?
To state the obvious, they've got to score the next goal.
How do they do it?
Otherwise, this roof's going to be blown off this building. It's a lot of what they did in the first half. They've obviously have to be a little bit more, I would say, intense going forward. Maybe a little bit more direct at times. But for those that watch the game at home, majority of the game was played by Columbus in Cincinnati's end. The problem is Vasquez and FC Cincinnati a little too powerful for the back three of Columbus.
They had 68% of possession in the first half, Columbus. Farsi getting around Barrial, getting the cross in. Arias' clearance was awkward. It was to Matan. That came off Kubo. They want a handball. Alan Chapman thinking about it, and he just gives a corner.
Well, this hits the left arm of Kubo. Make no mistake about it. But this brings into the situation that happened with Sporting Kansas City and the Houston Dynamo, right? That one is not a handball for me. And by the way, tip of the cap to pro referees. Admitting the mistake midweek that they got the Sporting Kansas City Houston Dynamo situation wrong because it was on the goal line and it prevented a goal.
Quick check there, it's complete. It's the corner driven in by Rossi, and a foul as the ball was coming in, committed against Elvis Powell of Cincinnati.
Well, while we're talking about the referees, right? I think Columbus fans, rightfully so, are questioning whether or not this was a foul on Morera and Vasquez. Watch the left quad of Morera hit the left foot of Vasquez that then ends up forcing him to be clipped. Great look from our slow-mo. Absolutely was a foul.
There was contact there, no doubt about it. That led to the second goal for FC Cincinnati on a set piece just before halftime. Pat Noonan told us he thought Columbus was vulnerable on set pieces. They got the one. Farsi's cross cleared by Mosquera. Morris wins it back for Columbus. Wanted a foul, he gets a foul. And now the Crew will have a set piece in a dangerous spot.
Well, I'm going to beat the dead horse again, but Aiden Moore's just tactical understanding in pressing moments is really, really good. Really good. It makes Darlington Nagbe more effective, but it allows the entire operation to really flow for Wilfred Nancy, drawing a dangerous set piece here for Columbus. And keep an eye on Aiden Morris on this back post. With this angle, this ball could be delivered all the way through to the back post.
Rossi clips it in. Mosquera's had her only as far as Nagbe. Over to Morris. Nagbe is going to step forward. Nagbe. Baton. Slides it for Rossi. A little too far. Rossi's able to keep it in play. And then off of Kubo, off of Rossi, Cincinnati throw.
By the way, Nagbe hit it for 20 yards. 98% of Darlington Nagbe's goals have been up for the Puskás Award because it's a goal of the year candidate. Why not hit it from 20 yards out?
There's a lot of people in Portland, a lot of people in Atlanta, and yes, in Columbus that have thought the same thing about Darlington for a decade. He is unselfish, maybe to a fault at times.
Absolutely. 7 times he's been in the MLS Cup playoffs. 6 of those he's gotten to do at least the conference final while winning 3 MLS Cups. Remarkable.
3 MLS Cups with 3 different teams, the 5th player in league history to do so. With Columbus in 2020, with Atlanta in 2018, with Portland in 2015.
Oh.
Here comes Cincinnati. Arias clipping it. Schulte there for Columbus. Into space for Rossi in a foot race with Mosquera. Rossi goes down. He was trying to draw it, and Alan Chapman wasn't having any of it.
But you see what I'm saying? Miazga being out, I get it's a huge loss, but Mosquera plays that position very well. He did against Philly. He's done that tonight.
Now Acosta, Bupenza, shifts it! Oh, what a save! What a save! Patrick Schulte keeping Columbus in the Eastern Conference Final.
You gotta be kidding me! In extra time in Orlando, Patrick Schulte stood on his head. This is one of the best saves you will ever see. Bupenza, great cut. That falls in the back of the net. But Patrick Schulte says, no, sir. Columbus is still alive. That is a big-time save from Patrick Schulte.
22 years old, what a moment. Still a tall task for Columbus, but 3 may have been an impossible one. It's still just 2-0 Cincinnati for now. Barreal. Cucho, the defensive header. Matat, really good technical ability to keep that away from Lucho. And then find Rossi. Can Columbus take advantage? Rossi cutting inside. Alvis Powell did enough to make it difficult for Rossi. Kubo took it off of Morris. Now Bupenza will let Kubo have it. Kubo just slipped, no foul. Rossi. Cucho over everybody.
Go back to Patrick Schulte. This is so good, and the reason why is because as a goalkeeper, you're reacting, you're waiting for the first move. The cutback here opens up the back post. You've got to be so perfect with your technique. Any kind of flinch, it's 3-0 Cincinnati. That is perfect technique from the kid from St. Louis University, Patrick Schulte, keeping the Columbus Crew alive in this one.
Remember, Cincinnati, they're the second half team. Plus 27, including the playoffs. In the second half, actually, that's just MLS regular season. The next best goal differential in the second half this year was plus 11 in Atlanta. Cincinnati plus 27, remarkable. Third best all time in league history.
Pat Noonan's initial press conference, what was the first thing he said? I want to make this place a difficult place to play. The fans deserve it. The owners deserve it. Make no mistake about it, the biggest reason why those wooden spoons have turned into sterling silverware is because Pat Noonan has made this place a difficult place to get at, and especially in the second half in front of the Bailey.
Pat Noonan has Cincinnati 36 minutes away from hosting MLS Cup at TQL Stadium. What a remarkable turnaround it's been for FC Cincinnati. Came into the league in 2019, finished last place in each of its first 3 seasons, the wooden spoon as it's known. Pat Noonan took over as head coach, Chris Albright leading the soccer side to the playoffs last year as the 5 seed. This year, Supporter Shield. And now 35 minutes away from hosting MLS Cup. Acosta is into Camacho. He won that clean, and then Acosta takes it off of Boris. Is called for the foul.
Well, the season changed for the Columbus Crew when they brought in Rudy Camacho. He's not the most athletic, but between the years, just a real good defender. Understanding positions and spaces. Lucha Acosta felt like he had Columbus on the ropes there. Morris coming in behind, but that was a lot of Rudy Camacho just in the right spot at the right time with a timely tackle.
Wilfred Nancy says, now my team is complete.
Yep.
With the addition of Rudy Camacho as a kind of a proper center back. He has them playing as he wants, and I think he'd be happy with how they played tonight. At least going forward in the attack. It's a typical Columbus Crew performance tonight. Scoreline, however, 2-0 for Cincinnati. Columbus, a hill to climb to extend their season. Cincinnati pressuring high, they win it. Penza just lost it, gave it away. The Audi 2023 MLS Cup is next Saturday, December 9th, and the winner of this match will host the winner of LAFC and Houston. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern. You can watch it on MLS Season Pass and head to MLSsoccer.com for wall-to-wall coverage all week. Will that match be here in TQL Stadium? Or will it be 110 miles northeast in Columbus at Lower.com Field? Right now, it's FC Cincinnati with a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference Final. Cucho cleared by Mosquera.
Mosquera's having himself a game tonight. Just timely tackles. He's very comfortable with the ball at his feet. But he's disciplined. He's not being pulled out of position. And mind you, in the pregame, you and I talked about it, even over the lineups, I said the key is Powell and Murphy. Just be disciplined. Stay next to Mosquera. Force Columbus around you, not through you. So far, it's been bend but don't break.
Arias finds Bupanza on a pace and it rises. 15 rows up into the crowd.
When we talk about the players missing for Cincinnati tonight, Arias has brought them real composure on the defensive side and a little bit more quality when they go forward. Good ball into Bupenza's feet. Unfortunate finish.
Arias is a bit underappreciated, but not talked about on this
absolutely
team.
Is.
This guy was the 2017-2018 Eredivisie Player of the Year for PSV. Oh, this is promising for Columbus. Murphy got there before Matan. Back to Salentano to get it clear.
Talk about the curse of the commentator. Arias, you're talking about it, and Yeboah ran right by him.
On cue. Moreira. Boris Yeboah. Cucho. And De Rossi broken up. Elvis Powell there again. Vasquez keeps it away from Nagbe. Slows it down to Barrial.
Christian Ramirez is the right move here. I do. And the reason why is you flipped the script on Cincinnati defenders. Now bring on an old-fashioned 9 that's going to occupy Mosquera. Then he can't clean up plays, read the game, which is what he's done very well in the second half, and allow Cucho just to run.
Cucho cuts inside. Through for Matan. Salentano, 15 yards off his line to collect. Gives it away.
And for Pat Noonan, I know he hasn't trained a ton over the last 25 days. Does Wobodo come into this game to help you close it out?
Yeboah clipped in. Mosquera only as far as Nagbe. Gets around Acosta. Nagbe over to Farsi. Into Rossi. Moreira now. This hits the cross. It will make its way to Yeboah. Cucho. A step over. Boris to Yeboah. Columbus patient. Yeboah gets around Arias. And then Kubo! And then blocked by Elvis Powell. Boris holds off Acosta. Oh, knocked down by Bupenza. Ellen Chapman plays advantage. Amundsen to the back post. Nobody's there.
Long, Pat Noonan talked about some interesting decisions he had to make with his lineup. Would it be Gaddis? Would it be Elvis Powell? Elvis Powell has had 2 timely blocks in this game. The first half one saving a goal. That one, maybe as much so.
He's been good tonight, huh, Elvis Powell?
But in that moment, right when we're showing the replay, look who's coming off the bench for Cincinnati.
Obina Wobodo. Or is it Ray Gaddis? Yeah, Ray Gaddis is the player, looks like. Coming over for Pat Noonan. Who do you expect to come out for? Arias has been beat a couple times. Arias is coming back from an injury.
I think it's Arias.
Yeah.
I really do. I think Arias has run himself into the ground. I get it, 62 minutes in. But he's on this near side, and he motioned a little bit to Dominic Kinnear and Pat Noonan. He's coming in for Arias. I'd be shocked if it's for Elvis Powell.
Yeah, you can see even in that moment when Arias was beat, he kind of threw his hands up. The player had not trained a ton over the past month. We'll go 60 minutes, it seems, tonight.
just motioned to the bench that Gaddis has to be coming in there. But it almost looked like Arias said, I'm okay. And I think Pat Noonan and Dominic Kinnear, Kenny Arena, and the entire staff said, Yeboah just ran right by you. Let's close shop up now. And from Wilfred Nancy's point, I love the tandem of Ramirez and Gressel to come in here. Now you're playing into the hands of Christian Ramirez, one of the best servers of the ball in all of Major League Soccer, Julian Gressel. Wilfred Nancy calls him his David Beckham. It's the right move.
Yeah, my little Beckham, he says.
Yep, you give Cucho a little bit more freedom to find the game. Gressel's going to stand on that right side and deliver some dangerous balls in. And you got an out-and-out number 9 that operates in the box, Christian Ramirez.
Pat Noonan making a move to try to close down this game. Wilfred Nancy making a move to go for it, to try to save this season. Nagbe holds off Kubo. Still Nagbe. Morera, Cucho, he goes down. Yeboah into the middle, blocked by Arias. Leaves for Morris. Cucho, ambitious, and well wide and high. And now the first changes of the night come. 1 for Pat Noonan and Cincinnati, 2 for Wilfred Nancy and the Columbus Crew. The veteran, the 33-year-old Raymond Gaddis, will enter for Santiago Arias. Mo Farsi comes off for Julian Gressel for Columbus. And Aiden Morris comes off for Christian Ramirez. Look, that's an attacking move. That's an acknowledgement that this Columbus Crew team is down 2-0 with 25 minutes plus stoppage time to go in their season.
Absolutely. You move Matan right next to Nagbe. He fills the gap. Now you've got Cucho running off Ramirez. There'll be 3 in the back. I think Nagbe's going to sit right in front of the 3, but then Gressel, Yeboah plays the wingbacks, and then a front 3 of Rossi, Cucho Hernandez, and Christian Ramirez. When they beat Cincinnati 3-0, Cucho played off of Christian Ramirez.
That was on August 20th. That was at Lower.com Field in the regular season.
And it was a makeshift lineup for Cincinnati because they had the Open Cup semifinal 3 days after that.
Here in TQL Stadium against Lionel Messi and Inter Miami.
The same scoreline, by the way.
It was.
At this moment, trust me, there's anxiety still in this building. Columbus gets the next goal. Hang on tight.
We talk about them being a first-half team. Cincinnati, that was the one game that you look at. It wasn't an MLS player or playoff, so it's not included in those stats, but that US Open Cup semifinal, they were up 2-0 very late. They conceded 2 goals, went to extra time, lost in penalties. Here is Vasquez. Through Bupenza, surely he is offside. The flag is down for now. Bupenza goes around Schulte, carries the ball into the net, and now the flag does come up from the assistant referee, Corey Parker.
It's just a sloppy first touch from Brandon Vasquez, so then he comes inside. The ball's deflected, but Bupenza's in an offside position. But how about this little shenanigans at the end?
You don't like that?
I'm not going to have a get off my lawn moment. Maybe because I can't do it and Bupenza can. But
here is Bupenza, and the offside flag again comes up on FC Cincinnati.
I'm just of the mindset, especially in this moment. Don't disrespect the opponent, don't disrespect the game.
Brandon Vasquez in the 14th minute. Luciano Acosta 2 minutes into first half stoppage time. The 2 goals in this match, a 2-0 lead for FC Cincinnati. The winner hosts MLS Cup on Saturday. Matan driving forward for Columbus. Ramirez let it run on. Elvis Powell there for Cincinnati. Acosta now has Vasquez with him. Acosta, back heel to Barrial. Now Acosta cuts inside and then around Gressel. Acosta into the middle. Kubo blocked by Matan, sacrificing his body. Schulte spout and in a third.
I think this is going to be called back, and the reason why is when Schulte makes the save, I think it hits the left arm of Bupenza and goes into the back of the net. I think when Schulte makes the save, it hit left arm. Deflects, left arm, absolutely.
And the rule is you cannot score a goal with your arm or your hand. If in another part of the field, it wouldn't be a handball if it's a natural position. None of that matters if the ball goes directly into the goal.
And that's why Sporting Kansas City, Houston Dynamo last weekend should have been called a penalty. Same thinking.
For now, the rule only goes that one way. Attacker cannot score a goal with any part of the arm or the hand. So it is still 2-0. Now it is Cucho. Corner won by Columbus.
Cucho thrives in these moments. It's been the most impressive part of his season for me. It's not only that he scored 20-plus goals, but he also had 12-plus assists in all competitions.
Gressel will take this corner. Off of Mascara. Barrial settles.
I like the thinking here from Pat Noonan. Dominic Baji is coming in this game, and I would be stunned if it's not for Bupenza. And the reason why is this, Jake. The way Columbus is throwing numbers forward, trying to get one goal to get back into the game, all it takes collectively is to have some composure. You're going to have space. You're going to find the third goal, and the game's over. It's been a little too reckless for me. I get it, Schulte came up with a massive save on Bupenza, but there's been 2 other half chances that Cincinnati should have put this game away. And Baji's been massive for them when Bupenza's gone through disciplinary stuff, been away with the international break.
Yeboah and Cucho settling, turning, blocked by Murphy. Nagbe around Acosta, slides it to Gressel. Leaves it for Moreira. Gets around Acosta. Moreira, unselfish again. Didn't want to have a hit on his left. Over Penza. Wonderful touch. Now Vasquez in a foot race with Nagbe. Vasquez opening up the legs, cutting it back. Nagbe gets a touch, just enough.
How good is that from Darlington Nagbe?
Two-way play.
Columbus just will not go away. Whether it's Schulte's save, whether it's Nagbe running 75 yards in recovery, they will not go away.
Acosta nutmegs Moreira, doesn't get it back. And then Acosta fouls Nagbe. The 6th foul of the game committed by Luciano Acosta.
Part of Acosta's thinking is that, you know what, the ball turns over. We've done it 6 times tonight. All of them of the tactical foul variety. Little surprising, though, he hasn't been given a yellow.
Now the second change of the night. Acosta was given a yellow card for that foul for persistent infringement. So second yellow card of the night is Luciano Acosta. And the second change of the night for FC Cincinnati is Dominic Baggi on for Aaron Bupenza.
And right after it, Acosta fouls again.
Kubo, the time didn't get there. He's able to turn. Acosta driving forward. Vasquez tried to leave it for Acosta. That was read very well by Amundsen. Ramirez, oh, Celentano does so well to get there just before Christian Ramirez.
And it is a split-second difference. Because Celentano comes through Christian Ramirez, but he recovers the ball first, and then Ramirez has the collision. I mean, you can get
Gressel drives it in, Ramirez was there, and it's in! Christian Ramirez off the bench, once again on the score sheet. Columbus pulls one back.
Well, the question's going to be whether or not the ball's delivered in from Julian Gressel. Is Julian Gressel in an offside position when this ball is played forward? Alvis Powell drops. It's a dangerous ball in. I actually think it's an own goal. The ball was played through. Celentano comes off his line. He misses it. This hits Alvis Powell and goes into the back of the net. And what a coincidence. One of the best deliverers of the ball in all of Major League Soccer has flipped the game on its head. Julian Gressel with a timely ball in. Unlucky from Alvis Powell. It's 2-1, FC Cincinnati, Columbus, and hell is real.
Own goal off of Alvis Powell. Game on in the Eastern Conference Final. Wilfred Nancy made another change, his third of the night. He brought on Sean Zawanski for Yao Yaboa. That pushes Malte Amundsen out to the left wing back spot. Zawanski playing left center back next to Rudy Camacho. Here we go. Hell is real indeed. Two clubs separated by 110 miles, meeting in the Eastern Conference Final. Just the second time in league history that two primary geographic rivals have met in a conference final. The previous one, 2016, Toronto-Montreal, brought us one of the best playoff series in league history. Amundsen takes a deflection off of Powell. Amundsen will get back on it. And then Powell draws a foul.
Well, what I was talking about is Julian Gressel in an offside position as he makes this run forward. It's difficult from that angle, but VAR is saying that Alvis Powell kept him on. It's a dangerous ball in. And I've been on the record, I'm gonna stay on the record. Give me Julian Gressel for 90 minutes. Every single time he's on the field in this system, with Wilfred Nancy and the way they operate, they use space in the ball to manipulate the game. Give me one of the best deliverers of the ball in the league.
Wilfred Nancy's reasoning was that they need pace. He wanted something different on the right side. And he said Julian still needs time to adjust to what we want as we look at the foul. Camacho going through Vasquez. Wilfred Nancy started with Mo Farsi in that right wing back spot. He's brought on Julian Gressel. His cross creates the own goal and brings Columbus back into this Eastern Conference final.
And listen, Ramirez run creates the goal too. If Ramirez isn't in, Cucho doesn't love those runs. He's not a 9 that when the ball goes wide, he's operating in the 18, trying to get on the end of it. But both second half subs in Ramirez and Gressel have changed the game in favor of Columbus here.
Acosta clipped it in, Vasquez heads it in, but Alan Chapman, the referee, had blown the whistle earlier for a foul.
Well, it is a foul, because right before the ball is delivered, Vasquez just 2 hands shoves down his defender.
Rossi drives forward into space, cuts inside, sends it wide to Julian Gressel. Gressel, another cross, off of Barrial, stays in play. Aji heads it forward. I asked you earlier for Cincinnati, pressure or privilege playing in front of this crowd. It was privilege for 75 minutes. Feels like it might be a little bit of pressure right now.
Get out of here. 80th minute at home with a 1-goal lead.
Rossi!
Oh my word!
And over. A wonderful chance for Diego Rossi.
Wonderful chances being kind. But this one I'm talking about, Cucho Hernandez has shown his propensity to be a creator. 14 assists in all competitions. That is a world-class ball that needs to be finished from Diego Rossi. It says it all right now. 80 minutes. You got a 1-goal lead at home, and Wobodo is still not in the game.
He's dealing with a foot injury. And you have to think it's that injury and the lack of fitness that has come from not being able to train for about 3 weeks. Until very recently, that is keeping him on the bench right now. Their defensive midfield general. Cincinnati needing to hold on to this 1-goal lead. Columbus needing to equalize to keep their MLS Cup hopes alive. Baji. Flicking it forward for Ray Gaddis. Vasquez in the middle. Camacho the block, out for a throw.
Alvis Powell's had himself a game tonight, hasn't he?
He has. Unfortunate on the own goal.
Yep.
He's an experienced player in these moments. Acosta in the corner. Zawatsky does well to take it away, win a goal kick off of Gaddis. Collide. Alan Chapman's going to stop play to give a yellow card to Dominic Batu. Gressel out wide. Slides it for Rossi. Moreno read it and sees it out for a goal kick. Here's Pat Noonan's instructions for his team to see this out.
He's asking Lucho to make sure that he stays more connected with Moreno and Kubo than he does with Vasquez and Baji. And the reason why is it will force Nagbe to follow him a little bit. Then guess what? It's 2v2 up front. Because here you are, 84th minute, Columbus is throwing caution to the wind. All it takes is a combination of 4 or 5 passes, and you've got yourself the third goal. But right now, they are struggling to understand how to defend Columbus with so many different attacking options on the field, and that's why finally you're seeing Wobodo off the bench expected to come into this game.
Nagbe for Columbus, now Amundsen. Patan, defended by Powell. No foul. Throw in Cincinnati, now the change. Patan's upset. Third and final change. At least of regulation, the third substitution window used by Pat Noonan. We'll see Obina Wobodo make his return to the pitch, dealing with a foot injury. Normally their starter, their rock in the midfield, will come on to try to see this out, replacing Yuya Kubo.
But when that sub was being made, Dominic Baji was brought over, and Kenny Arena and Pat Noonan on a piece of paper were showing him, we want you to play deeper underneath Vasquez, allow Lucho to play further up the field, because you got the fresh legs, you can chase the game, you can give a little support to Wobodo, who's now going to sit in front of this back 7 of FC Cincinnati.
Columbus throwing everything forward. Gressel, Ramirez, oh, touching to Rossi, this is so good! What a goal! The crew have been saved by Diego Rossi! All level, 2-2!
Promised you goals in the 4 games between Wilfred Nancy and Pat Noonan. There were 22 goals scored. In the 5th game, it's 2-2. It's the Eastern Conference Final. Numbers forward, but you got to be in the right spot at the right time. And Wilfred Nancy this year made a massive decision. Lucas Zelarayan, goodbye. Hello, Diego Rossi. And hello, it's 2-2. Hell is real, and off we go to the 90th minute.
What a game in the Eastern Conference Final. Cincinnati, 2 goals in the first half, up 2-0 at halftime. Columbus has come back with 2 in the last 15. Cincinnati had not allowed a second-half goal since September 20th. They had not allowed a second-half goal in this building since August 23rd in all competitions. 2 from Columbus tonight. 2-2, and now we're looking 3 minutes plus stoppage time away from extra time in the Eastern Conference Final if neither of these teams can find a winner late in regulation. Following the same plot lines as the regular season meeting here on May 20th, Cincinnati went up 2-0. Columbus came back to make it 2-2. Wasn't this late? Cincinnati did get a third to win 3-2. How will the Eastern Conference Final finish? The winner will host MLS Cup next Saturday.
Cincinnati's got to be careful. They got to get to extra time. All the momentum in the world is on Columbus here.
It has turned completely.
What's amazing is the best team in all of Major League Soccer in the first half is Columbus, and the best team in the second half is Cincinnati.
Yeah, we set it up that way, didn't we?
But when you show up in hell, there are no rules.
It all gets flipped, and it has tonight. Baton to Gressel. This is Amundsen. Amundsen, that took a deflection. It's a corner for Columbus. They want to finish this. They don't want to go to extra time.
As they should. But the game changed with Gressel and Ramirez, didn't it?
It did. The two changes involved in both goals.
Because they played into the hands of the strengths of both players, but also to what this game needed.
Now Gressel will take this corner. Oh, into a really dangerous spot. And all the way through. Ramirez knows that was a chance.
I mean, you want to know why Wilfred Nancy calls him his little Beckham? Look at this ball. Goalkeeper caught flat-footed. That ball is whipped in with such good pace. Any kind of deflection, Celentano's in no man's land.
Remains tied. That was possible through the and that's a foul in the set piece for Columbus.
Why? No reason why. None.
Too aggressive.
Especially with Gressel on the field now. So now either it's Cucho or Gressel in this moment. And listen, throughout the year, Columbus didn't score a ton of goals off set pieces.
No.
Part of that is Gressel wasn't there all year long. But when you ask a couple of the players, what has he brought? The first thing that's talked about is set piece delivery.
One of the best deliveries in Major League Soccer. Julian Gressel over this set piece in stoppage time of the Eastern Conference Final. Minimum 4 minutes. Gressel drives it in, flicked on. Celentano there to catch. This result holds extra time, 2 15-minute periods. And then on to penalties, if still even after extra time. Through for Baji. Flag is down for now. Baji driven across. Nobody there for Cincinnati. And now the offside flag does come up on Dominique Baji. Noonan and FC Cincinnati had a 2-0 lead into the 75th minute. 2 goals from the Columbus crew have leveled this match. 2 minutes left, a minimum of stoppage time before potential extra time in this Eastern Conference Final. Chapman played on. Wow. Ramirez. Matan. Gressel. Mascara wins that one clean.
I'm more surprised the assistant referee on that side didn't raise the flag.
For a foul.
Absolutely. When he's telling Mascara to give it up. Mascara's all the way over there, giving the assistant referee an earful.
This bounces to Schulte. Skara has gone down. This is the third time tonight he has done so.
I think the referee blew the whistle on this challenge from Cucho Hernandez. I'm not sure there is even a foul there.
He gave it, so he's giving the ball back to Cincinnati. Maybe 30 seconds left. In regulation of the Eastern Conference Final. Columbus takes it away. Here comes Cucho. Does Columbus have one more chance? Over Rossi's head, headed away by Murphy. And the full-time whistle. Columbus comes back to force extra time in the Eastern Conference Final. 30 more minutes of hell is real with a spot in MLS Cup on the line. What a game at TQL Stadium. Wilfred Nancy and Columbus with all the momentum heading into extra time. Here's how we got here. It was a first half that was controlled on the ball by Columbus, but saw Cincinnati score twice. Beginning in the 14th minute, giveaway by Mo Farsi. Brandon Vasquez opens the score.
Yeah, but they needed Brandon Vasquez to show up. The Brandon Vasquez of 2022, he did so. And then going into halftime, an absolute back-breaking goal from the MVP, Luciano Acosta. For the second half subs, Ramirez, Gressel, they changed the game. An own goal from Alvis Powell. And then they felt the momentum come in. Just a little bit of a lucky bounce here. But great reaction from Diego Rossi. But we are not here if not for this big-time save of Patrick Schulte. Fupenza beats the defender. He thinks he's got Schulte beat. If he does, it's 3-0, game over. He doesn't, and it's just that little glimmer of hope. Columbus take it, they run with it, and here we are.
2-2 after regulation and on to extra time. Expected goals, shot chart. Both teams had good opportunities outside of the goals as well. 2-2, fair after 90 minutes. Let's do it, huh? 30 more minutes of this.
I think it's fair,
yeah.
I do. You know, that save from Schulte was massive, but I also think if you go back, Alvis Powell clearance off the goal line, right? Cucho had him beat early on in the game, so there's been chances both ways. You see Schulte made a save in the first half as well, diving to his left, parried it wide. You haven't seen a ton of Lucha Acosta in the second half, but Wilfred Nancy pushed the right buttons. I think he could have done it a little bit sooner, but it doesn't matter. Ramirez and Gressel come in, and it's given Murphy, Powell, and Mascara something different to think about, and that's worked in favor of Darlington Nagbe and the Columbus crew.
What are the buttons to push now for extra time?
I think if you're Columbus, you're just basically rinse and repeat. Yep. Go out there and do exactly what you were doing to end the game. Cincinnati, there's a fewer questions, you know, a few questions for me. Lobodo was not expected to come into this game and play 45 minutes. He's gonna have to. He's barely moving on the field, right? Baji's come in, Fupenza was tired, he had to come out. Vasquez looks a little heavy-legged, but I think Columbus is gonna have to make a sub. As you and I are pontificating here, it looks like Rudy Camacho has to come out of the game.
Yeah, so Yevon Shaberko is gonna come on for Rudy Camacho for extra time. Julian Gressel, the change made such a difference. Cucho offering his words of encouragement. But the change at center back, the 4th change of the night for Wilfred Nancy, who still has one more window if he wants to use it in extra time. No extra subs, by the way, allowed in extra time. What are they upset about?
I think they're asking about the extra window, if it was used there with Shaberko coming in. But there's confusion on FC Cincinnati's side right now on the substitution there for Camacho.
This does not count as a substitution window. Also, in between the extra time periods would not count as a substitution window. But this is a big change for Columbus. Camacho has changed this team. He's made this team complete, according to Wilfred Nancy. Shaberko was a summer signing. Played just 6 games in the regular season. He played just 15 minutes in this playoffs. Brought on in extra time a week ago against Orlando.
Yeah, but if you're Wilfred Nancy, you're putting Sawatsky as the center back and play Shaberko at his natural position as a left center back in a 3, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
Shaberko is a Ukrainian international, 1 cap with Ukraine. Sawatsky was that middle of the 3 for most of the season until they brought on Rudy Camacho from Montreal in a trade in the summer. 30 minutes of extra time, 2 15-minute periods. If still level after 30 minutes, the Eastern Conference Final will go to penalties. The winner of this match will host MLS Cup next Saturday against the Western Conference winner, either LAFC or Houston. The Western Conference Final follows us tonight on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Gaddis gets away from Rossi and Amundsen and into the feet of Vasquez. Time takes it away. Into space for Cucho, isolated with Elvis Powell.
It's too sloppy from Brandon Vasquez.
Amundsen underlaps. Mascara comes over. Amundsen got there first. A set piece coming for the Crew.
No argument for me.
There was from Yersin Mosquera.
And for 26,000 in this building, but that's a foul. It is amazing though. Look at, you're in extra time, right? You got to make subs, you got to play players in different positions. That's where the respect and admiration comes from me with Wilfred Nancy. Almost identical to the Patrick Vieira, where when you play players in multiple positions, and the game and situation asks for it, which is right now what's going on. Amundsen played as a left center back. Now he's playing as your left wing back. There's players that can play multiple positions, and tactically it gives you flexibility, but also gives you confidence that in the 93rd minute, you're still on the front foot.
Gressel to take this set piece, goes on the ground. That's the 2nd time tonight.
Keep an eye on Vasquez.
Has done that. Here they go. Cincinnati has numbers. FC Cincinnati coming forward. That was Mosquera, the center back. Not in the spot he wanted to be.
It's the center back going forward, and it's the center forward from Diego Rossi making the recovery.
Extra time of the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what you get.
I mean, both teams, both sets of players, both managers putting it on the line tonight. That is the 93rd minute where Diego Rossi's running 100 yards to chase down the center back of FC Cincinnati.
Shaberko steps in to win the header. Heading it forward again. Cucho isolated with Powell, the back heel to Amundsen.
That's a foul.
Alan Chapman said Gaddis got there clean. It's a throw.
Yeah, Alan Chapman, though, Amundsen fouls him.
Man, they're playing with confidence, Columbus, right now.
That That is the 15th time my Apple Watch has told me it's a loud environment.
Just perpetually that warning stays up.
I got it. My ears will be ringing till MLS Cup next weekend. I got it.
Yeah. You and 25,513 others, all of us at TQL Stadium tonight. What an environment for this Eastern Conference final. Will MLS Cup be back here next Saturday, or will it be 110 miles up the road at Lower.com Field in Columbus? And who will be the opponent? The Audi 2023 MLS Cup playoffs continue next with the Western Conference final. LAFC hosting the Houston Dynamo. Coverage beginning immediately following this match tonight.
Look at Diego Rossi.
Oh, getting around Mascara as well and keeping it in play. Rossi in towards Ramirez. Murphy there for Cincinnati. 96th minute. Rossi on his horse, given away. Amundsen to Ramirez.
It's just smothering from Columbus right now. In front of the Bailey, FC Cincinnati, their fans struggling to breathe here at home.
Rossi shifting it. Murphy, can he get it clear? Does enough. Acosta, the MVP of the league. Flipping it towards Vasquez. Shabirko will get there. Cucho is drifted out wide right. Now Matan, Moreira, Cucho, Nagby, Shabirko's coming forward. Leaves from Amundsen.
Acosta cannot run right now.
Rossi off of Wobodeau, corner for Columbus. Columbus does seem to be the fresher team at this moment.
Just compare the two number 10s.
Yeah.
Right? 96 minute, Diego Rossi's buzzing all over the place. Luciano Acosta can barely move.
It was interesting. Pat Noonan was asked about Columbus going to extra time last week. Would that be a disadvantage for Columbus because they'd be tired? He said the other way around. Helps with their fitness. Gressel. Easy for Salentano.
Yeah, but this is where you need real leadership. If I'm Cincinnati, I'm getting numbers forward. I'm pushing forward. Look at the difference, though. Everybody from Columbus being able to play off their guy. Brandon Vasquez, the only one providing anything going forward.
Vasquez was several feet offside. The flag did come up, but Alan Chapman allowed play to continue. Cincinnati cannot make a change until in between the first and second extra time periods because they used all three of their substitution windows in regulation. They do have two substitutions left, but they're going to have to wait until 1:05 to do it as a yellow card shown to Brandon Vasquez.
At this point, it's about survival.
For both teams? Just for Cincinnati?
No, if you're Columbus,
you want to go.
You want to end this.
Cincy, you want to go to PKs? Depends.
You don't have a choice right now.
Yeah, they look at
They've been barely crossing half field.
Robinson cutting inside, finding Ramirez. Murphy pokes it away.
That's just Christian Ramirez has to have a better understanding of the space around him. The one-touch layoff to Cucho was on.
Touch away from Murphy. Shot was blocked.
I mean, this is the real dilemma for Pat Noonan and FC Cincinnati. Luciano Acosta can't run. You're not going to get to penalties if you don't figure that part out. He's barely moved, and so do you make the sub, risking that you're not going to have your MVP for the penalties, but at least you're going to help yourself get to penalties, because right now it's as if Cincinnati's playing a man down.
Gressel sent it in, header, and then over! It was there for Robinson. He may have not known much about it, but it's over and into the Bailey.
I mean, the deliveries from Julian Gressel are ridiculous. Deflected from Luciano. Oh, that's so difficult. Cucho Hernandez heads it. Amundsen can't react quick enough. But every single yellow player in this replay and in this picture beats their player. Cincinnati is chasing shadows. They are chasing ghosts. They are desperate to get to the break and then get to extra time.
Cincinnati had 3 weeks in between round 1 and the semis. Columbus, their round 1 series against Atlanta went 3 games, so they only had 2 weeks. They played that 3rd game, that extra time in the conference semis, that added fitness. At least not losing, but maybe Cincinnati and teams in 3 weeks that naturally would have lost. Showing its advantage at this moment in extra time. Chabergo is fouled. Columbus goes quick. Rossi. Matan.
Remember 20 minutes ago you said pressure or privilege?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's a boiler in here.
It's flipped, huh?
It is 1,000% pressure right now for Cincinnati.
Yeah, it is. Up 2-0 at home in the Eastern Conference Final into the 75th minute. 2 goals from the Columbus crew. Leveled this match, sent it to extra time, and now the crew of the away team on the front foot. Here they come again. Moreira. Maybe the wrong decision to try to cut that inside, and Murphy is able to send it forward. Now Diego Rossi towards Ramirez. Powell misplayed it, but Celentano can collect.
But you also can't state it enough. They were in this exact position in the Open Cup semifinal against Inter Miami and Lionel Messi. Up 2-0, and they go to extra time. So the anxiety in this building, the fans, it's not the same energy as it was when they were up 2-0. You can see it, the team in blue. It feels like there's 14 Columbus Crew players on the field against 10. That muscle memory can become a real hindrance to try to finish this game off.
Gressel to Cucho, it's blocked! Matan takes a touch, cleared by Murphy, only as far as Gressel to Amundsen, blocked by Powell. Nagby is fouled, stays on his feet. Now it's given. Alan Chapman was waiting to see if an advantage would materialize. He waited a long time, but he brings it back for the foul.
Yeah, but that's the way you're supposed to officiate that situation. Cincinnati players are going to be upset with it, so are the fans, but no way. Nagby gets up right away, and the referee still wants to allow to see the continuation. I have no issue with this whatsoever. In a pressure cooker that it is right now, that is fantastic officiating, in my opinion. Well done.
2-time MLS Referee of the Year, Alan Chapman, 2017 and 2019. to catch.
The idea is there. Mariel caught flat-footed, not tracking his runner from Christian Ramirez. I mean, if you're FC Cincinnati, you got to feel fortunate that you're going to the second part of a tie 2-2. Pat Noonan and FC Cincinnati easily could be down a goal here, but this is the conversation right now can continue.
Midway between extra time. 2-2. FC Cincinnati and the Columbus Crew in the Eastern Conference Final. A tense 15 minutes. It was all Columbus on the front foot. Unable to find a goal. 15 more minutes.
Keep doing what you do. Yep. And who's he talking to? Julian Gressel. So what they've noticed is that Steven Herrera underlapping, stepping into the midfield, causing that overload with Matan and Nagby next to him. It's causing a problem. Gressel's one-on-one. And that's the overload that Wilfred Nancy wants. Pat Noonan right now, it's less tactics, it's motivation. You got to find an extra bit of juice, an extra bit in that tank. Because the moment Columbus tied this game 2-2, all hell broke loose.
Fresh legs coming on for FC Cincinnati. Brandon Vasquez and Junior Moreno will come off. Sergio Santos and Marco Angulo will come on. The last two changes allowed for Pat Noonan and FC Cincinnati. He has now used all 5. You don't get an extra one in extra time in these MLS Cup playoffs. And Taylor, normally I ask you, what do these changes do? What do they mean for Pat Noonan and Cincinnati? They just needed fresh legs. As many as they could get on the field.
Yeah, and he looked at it, and immediately when the whistle was blown, he took about 10 quick steps directly to Acosta and said, "Can you go?" And that determined that it was Vasquez coming off and not Acosta. But this is all about surviving, getting yourself to penalties.
Acosta is perfect in penalty shootouts this season. Cincinnati's already had 5 penalty shootouts this year, all competitions. Acosta's 4 for 4 in those shootouts. Guy you want on the field if this goes to penalties. That is a big if. Santos already the fresh legs making an impact, so it kind of falls over the ball. He just get it back. Baji. Acosta. Baji! Is he in? Oh, miracle! From behind, poking it away from Dominic Baji.
But it's the combination of both. For the first time in a long time, Cincinnati gets him behind. Watch the tackle from Schuberko, but also watch the last-ditch touch from Schulte. This tackle could be by him. Big-time play from Patrick Schulte.
Cincinnati in front of the Bailey. Mariel. That's off of Ramirez, and Schulte will catch. The first half of extra time, dominated by Columbus. Matan. Gressel. Rossi. Amundsen back to Rossi. Ramirez. Malte Amundsen. Rossi wasn't making the run. He gives a little apology to his teammate.
Jake, Luciano Costa can't move, and this is the conversation I'm talking about. Pat Noonan looked right at him. You want to come out? Can you finish? Can you finish? And he shrugged him off and said yes. And Luciano Acosta cannot move right now.
Looks like he's cramping. He was kind of hobbling back. You see him now jogging a little bit, but he was all the way behind the play on that last move forward for Columbus. He does not want to come out of this game. The league's MVP.
That's fine, but any player will tell you absolutely. But now it turns into the other conversation. Well, who still had a little bit more left in the tank? Vasquez or Luciano Acosta? You can tell from Noonan and Kenny Arena, they're frustrated on that bench right now.
Nothing Cincinnati can do now, out of substitutions. Amundsen into Rossi. Rossi looking for Ramirez, off of Powell. They're shouting for a handball. Baji's fouled by Shaberko.
Diego Rossi is arguing that Alvis Powell moved his right arm away from his body and forced his right arm to the ball. But from the initial glance, even some of the Columbus players were telling Diego Rossi hit him in the right shoulder and in the right chest. No reason for a second look.
Yeah, any check from Yunus Merachi would be complete. Acosta, the back heel. Cucho to Matan. See Acosta on the left of your screen stretching himself out. He's struggling. Hernandez won the ball! Ramirez! What a strike saved by Celentano! So close to a wonderful goal. In extra time in the Eastern Conference Final. Columbus coming right back. Amundsen to Cucho. Cucho. They're leaving him. Flicking towards Rossi. Cleared by Gaddis. Santos follows Nagby.
There's been about 10 times tonight I've needed to remind myself I'm actually commentating on the game and I'm not a fan. The game's been played at the highest of levels. Cucho Hernandez with an unbelievable ball in, and Ramirez with a half scissors kick. Celentano with a big save. What a privilege to be doing this game with a mic in my hand. What a special night it has been, my word. Both teams putting on a show.
Wonderful display in Ohio, the Eastern Conference Final. Columbus will make its final substitution. Will Fernandes only used 2 substitution windows in regulation, so he had this one available. Alexander Matanu also appeared to be cramping up and not moving well. Comes off, and the veteran Kevin Molino enters for the final 10 minutes of extra time and potentially to penalties. Molino, his first touch is a service into Powell. Header only as far as Shaberko. Amundsen. Shaberko, Rossi. Diego Rossi. Celentano floating into the air to make the catch.
You know what's amazing tonight? Cucho Hernandez has 12 shots.
Yep.
Right? And yet he may have 2 of the best balls whipped in of anyone. It was the Rossi missed header early on, and then the ball that was just whipped in to Christian Ramirez. Cucho Hernandez has been all over the field for Columbus tonight, alongside Diego Rossi.
Those 12 shots, by the way, ties the MLS Cup playoffs record that was set last year by Austin's Sebastian Driussi against Real Salt Lake. Feels like there's a 13th in it for Cucho tonight. This is Molino to Amundsen. Back to Kevin Molino. Takes a deflection and Celentano will cover.
I feel for the fans at home. You know why?
Why?
I've had to use the restroom for the last 60 minutes. I can't sit down. I don't want to miss a single second of this game. And I know exactly what the Columbus Crew and Cincinnati fans are going through at home.
Nobody is leaving their seats, no matter where you are.
Why would you?
If you're in TQL Stadium, if you're anywhere around the globe watching on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV, this has been a thrilling night in Cincinnati, Ohio. These two rivals, 110 miles separate Columbus and Cincinnati. A relatively new rivalry. Cincinnati began in 2017 in the second division USL. They met for the first time in the Open Cup. Then in MLS since 2019. This is the most important game, so to speak, that they could meet in the Eastern Conference Final. For the second time in league history, a true derby in a conference final, and what a game it's been.
Well, what a showcase for those that have Apple TV in 107 countries. Your introduction to Major League Soccer. This has been fantastic.
Still the final act of this night, yet to be written. Rossi coming forward for Columbus. This is Gressel cutting it back. Wobodo there. And the space for Barreal, who is now up and limping. And Acosta trying the tricks in the touch.
Yeah, but that's my frustration. If you're cramping, why are you flicking the ball up, trying to juggle out of it?
Gressel in, Amundsen flying in, didn't get there, but it makes its way to Molino. Molino, back post, Kucha, and then Ramirez has done it! His nickname is Superman, Christian Ramirez, flying in to save the day for the crew.
Yeah, but I want you to watch FC Cincinnati. Angulo here is caught flat-footed. Kevin Molino's on top of the ball, top of the 18, and there's a run from Cucho Hernandez, the most dangerous player on the field for Columbus, and you let him run in, but to have the composure in this moment, to not be selfish. Take a bow, Cucho Hernandez, and take a bow, Wilfred Nancy. Down 2-0, no problem. In Cincinnati, in TQL Stadium, it's 3-2.
Games like this, when stars become legends or superheroes. In the case of Christian Ramirez, off the bench, and again in extra time for a second straight match, putting Columbus ahead. 5 minutes now for the Supporter Shield winners FC Cincinnati to try to save their season. Yellow card shown to Mascara.
Not to beat a dead horse, but this one I'm talking about. Luciano Costa juggling. Why? Why? That play right there turns into a quick throw-in. Guess who's on the front foot? Columbus, Cucho, Christian Ramirez. Now you're down 3-2. It's the little things, but the last 40 minutes of play, he hasn't been able to move.
Kept himself in the game. It appeared in between the extra time periods. He told Pat Noonan he was okay to go. He has not been moving well. And here come Columbus. A fourth would end it. Rossi. Will he be aggressive? Will he go to the corner? Out for a goal kick.
I mean, mean, it is amazing at the clip for 117-plus minutes that Columbus had played at tonight.
Incredible. Yep.
It's unreal.
They look fresh. Cincinnati does not. They look beat and have for quite some time. Does that happen when you're the protagonist throughout games, when you're the ones dictating the pace of the play?
It's a great question. When you know your coach wants you to go for it the entire game, it's funny how you find that extra 5 to 10%, isn't it?
The entire game, the entire year. Kucha going 1-on-3 with the corner.
I'll tell you right now, Kucha Hernandez jumped off the bridge, I might join him. I mean, it's so contagious, the energy, the way he goes about the game. He's often been described as the modern forward, which I think does an injustice to the Fernando Torres of the world, because there have been modern forwards before. But what that means is, if you need a creator, if you need someone to run the back line, you need a finisher, you need someone to step into the midfield, he can absolutely do it all. And Will Fernandes figured that out and allowed Zella Ryan to go, Rossi to come in, because he knew the head of the snake was Kucha Hernandez.
The clock is counting down on Cincinnati's remarkable season. Acosta just popping it forward. Can't even do that. And it's easy for Schulte. What a season for Luciano Acosta. 17 goals, 14 assists in the regular season. The goal tonight just before halftime put Cincinnati up 2-0. They were flying at home in the Eastern Conference Final. What a furious comeback from a confident Columbus crew, who are now 1 minute away from reaching a 4th MLS Cup, and for a 3rd time in 9 years hosting MLS Cup in Columbus, Ohio. Desperation time for Cincinnati. Mascara dumps it forward. Acosta wins the header. Then settling, Nagby back to poke it away. Acosta giving everything he can to chase it down. Wins a throw. There will be a minimum 2 minutes of added time in extra time. A minimum 2 minutes for Cincinnati to save its season. 2 minutes for Columbus to see it out.
That's a foul.
And host MLS Cup. Gressel's going to go into the book. A yellow card and a set piece. Maybe a last one in this season for FC Cincinnati.
Coming into tonight, they had given up 11 goals off of set pieces, given up 1 tonight as well. Costa can't even take it. Mariel stretching. One last delivery. One last ray of hope for Cincinnati to take this to Pence.
Mariel to serve. Alan Chapman making sure it's all kosher in the mixer. Now Mariel to the back post. A goal kick. Is that it? Columbus will be in no rush.
The old adage, the worst lead in football is 2-0. FC Cincinnati is feeling that right now.
It would be a devastating blow for FC Cincinnati. It is a thrilling night for Columbus. And now the concentration to Alan Chapman as Cincinnati has got to go. Is there one more move forward for the Supporters Shield winners? Barreal cuts inside. Angulo. Wobodo. Floating it. Barreal. It's Acosta. It's over. Columbus comes back and will head the MLS Cup. Down 2-0 at halftime. Down 2-0 with 15 minutes to go. The Columbus Crew in extra time defeat their rivals 3-2. They are the Eastern Conference champions, and they will host MLS Cup a week from today at Lower.com Field. What a game.
Remarkable. The last team to win a non-penalty kick situation where they were down 2 goals was Seattle, down 2-0 in 2020 to Minnesota United.